Look, high rep push-ups may help you feel productive, but they might be limiting your progress in ways you don't even realize and doing the exact opposite of what you truly want. And if you're anything like me or my students of the Pacific Rim Athletics universe, you want to move with power. But workouts with high volume basics like push-ups may be preventing that and keeping you at those low levels instead of progressing to press handstands, handstand push-ups, and muscle-ups, like we'll talk about in this video. You see, most people are working out to exhaustion rather than building powerful skill. And for the record, push-ups aren't bad. We use them all the time at the beginner levels. But once you build the sets of 20 push-ups, it's time to move on. And sure, high volume is great sometimes, especially for the health of the joints. In the case of push-ups, it pumps blood to the muscles, and that's why you feel the pump, but also it gets into all the joints like the wrists, the elbows, and the shoulders, helping to promote healing in the connective tissue. But when you stay at those levels and don't progress, you're not training, you're just going through the motions. Even if you feel the pump or the burn, it's like the expression, if you're not growing, you're dying. So instead of more push-ups, start building to the next level, handstand push-ups. But don't mistake videos for instruction, mine or otherwise. I've got to say that. Get proper coaching and positive community, and then you'll turn wasted time into massive progress in the fraction of the time, like all the pilots, surgeons, CEOs, entrepreneurs, attorneys, accountants, engineers, and other folks just like you. But how do you do handstand push-ups? Well, you don't just jump into them. You build up towards them. If you have a background in weightlifting, you'll understand this analogy. Every progression, every different move is like adding another plate to the bar. However, it's not as simple as that because you have to constantly change the leverage angles to facilitate the addition of more load to the lever. In other words, you're not changing plates, you're changing shapes. And to know which shape is the next stage is usually unique to each individual. That's why people get stuck on blind spots without even realizing it. Then they backpedal back into their prior comfort zones. But a simple one is pyramid push-ups, then feet elevated pyramid push-ups, then pike push-ups with feet up on the wall. And even just trying one of those will expose weak links that you didn't even realize were there, like in your hamstrings and lower back. So it's done through phases. It's like learning a language. Don't get stuck on the ABCs, but move on to higher levels. And yes, it does take some thought. You don't need to be a philosopher, but you do need to think and implement new protocols every 2 to 6 weeks to your training. But eventually this leads to handstand push-ups. Now, what's interesting is that training this actually builds the pulling muscles. Yep, I didn't have access to a pull-up bar for most of my life, but I built handstands at all angles, flares and flips, and this trained my pulling muscles as stabilizers. So the muscle up that I mentioned previously, well, that just came naturally, and pull-ups were easy. In fact, it was a byproduct of proper training through pushing strength, hand balance, acrobatics, and martial arts, which is why I synthesized all of that into Powerbatics. And at the heart of that is the ability to move with power, because strength and flexibility without the ability to move powerfully is vanity. And one more move that combines this all together is the press handstand. And it's not just pushing strength, it's even more complex than the muscle up. It involves the flexibility to stack the body into proper position, hip and leg strength to lift the lower body, and core strength to connect everything together. It's also straight arm strength, which no amount of push-ups or pull-ups prepares you for straight arm strength. So listen, you can actually use this as a test. See if you can first stand in a straddle with palms on the floor. Second, stack the hips above your shoulders. And third, see if you can lift, not jump, but lift the toes and float them off the ground. If not, then there's some work that needs to be done, which will be unique to each individual. You may have felt it in your hamstrings or perhaps in your lower back, or the arms start to immediately collapse. But guess what? Just doing that first position that I showed you, standing in a straddle and working on getting the palms to touch the floor, helps to start re-sculpting the body like clay. See, it's a small step at a time, and you can start there, and then you can truly transform and gain body mastery. Opt in and get training sent to your inbox along with info about upcoming cash prize competitions, retreats, and gatherings, and have the opportunity to apply for training. See you in the next video and in training soon.